This is Scott from My Life's Reward, running through the top 5 ATV trails of Michigan, coming right up. I've been looking forward to doing this video ever since one of the viewers commented that I should maybe summarize at the end of the ATV videos that I do as far as what the trails are like and is it recommended, not recommended, so they can plan accordingly. Well, since I haven't done any videos for rides, ATV rides previous to 2021, I thought, well, I've been doing riding since 2018, covered a lot of ground in that time in Michigan. Why not do a summary video and do some sort of a top 5? So that's what we've done here. Just have some bookkeeping items that I want you to be aware of. We do favor 50-inch trails, and when I refer to trails, I am talking about 50-inch trails versus routes that are 72 inches. The reason why we favor the 50 inches is just that it's more tactical, more challenging. It's a little more dangerous because the trees are a little bit closer proximity to the vehicles that are going by, but you're not going as fast maybe as you might on a route, so maybe it offsets the danger. I don't know. Plus, the trail bed is smoother. It doesn't have as many whoop-de-whoops or washboard type things going on there for whatever reason the routes do. So just keep that in mind, please. And did want to include the mileage. DNR websites are inconsistent with all the maps, so I couldn't do that. And I just wanted you to know these are my experiences so far. I'll be riding these trails again, some of them, and trails that I haven't ridden, be adding those to my experiences. And my list may change. So just be aware of that, and there might be another video coming out about, a year or two from now on the same kind of topic. If you do want to follow along, I am going to be using a DNR website. I'll share that information with you, and then also show you how to set it up. It won't take long so that you can maximize that experience. And it's also a nice resource, and it works not only on your computer and your web browser, but there's also a nice app for it that you can have on your phone. It doesn't cost, well, it does cost $2.99, but it's not affiliated with me at all. It's strictly the DNR, but it's reasonably priced. Okay, with that, we'll go into our first trail. Okay, so here we go. First thing we want to do is we want to go to the right website. You want to go to michigan.gov/DNR. Okay. That'll bring you here, and then select ORV. I will be ORV, I guess, is what you got to do there. And so I click that, and then this website, Where to Ride, Interactive ORV Route and Trail Map is where you want to be on that. There may be a splash screen that comes up in the middle. You can click OK, or if you want to not see that again, just hit the checkbox to say you don't want to see it again and click the OK. I had done that, so I'm not seeing that. Over here, we just want to go through these. We'll go through these quickly. This here is your key. We'll come back to that. This is your different things that you want to be visible on here. You can see what I have checked. Feel free to check whatever you'd like. At minimum, you want to make sure you take care of at least the 50-inch and the 72-inch trails, probably connectors. If you start clicking all these things, you're going to start adding stuff that's going to make the map a little bit less readable. You can do that if that's fine with you. And then this here, it will help you with a mapping overlay. that will reveal highways and roads. And as we zoom in, I'll come back to this and show you the difference there. And then you can measure things. You can do other stuff here too. So coming back to the key, or coming to the key here, this here is your keys for 50-inch width trails, red. And I know you'll see red here for closed. Just got to look for thicker lines. And then we have brown for the 72-inch trails. What I'm really mainly going to be looking at are the red 50-inch width trails. Now, I know I mentioned this is the top 5, but I did throw in 2 bonus honorable mention trails, so you really have 7 trails here. And it's probably mostly because I just found 7 trails really exciting in Michigan and couldn't make up my mind, I guess, right? So 2 honorable mentions. So the first honorable mention is the Alcona ORV Trail, and the Alcona Trail is right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom in on that. And you can see you have the Alcona ORV Trail East, and you have the Alcona ORV Trail West. And these together up to here make up the Alcona ORV Trail. And it's red, so it matches up with the 50-inch. So you can't do side-by-sides on this. So just be aware of that. There is a trailhead here somewhere, yes. If you zoom in close enough, you'll see where they show parking for your rig. There's one here and here. So what do I like about this trail? They're well kept up. You can move really fast. The curves, there's some hills, there's some descents. And whenever a trail system for me has a hill to climb or a descent to move down, it just automatically bubbles up to the top of my list. That's me. That might not be for you. You know, just the 50-inch trails are already tactical, pretty good, you know, but you're mostly going on curves and avoiding, you know, hitting trees, that sort of thing. But when you have those hills, it just adds another level of dimension to the trail, complexity. And that very exciting for me. So I do like that. There are certain trails in Michigan, this being one of them, that you can just move, go fast. You don't have to worry about trees. The trails are well kept up. The trees are way away from the edges of the trail. And, you know, I mean, you can really move fast. You can go fairly high speeds and be comfortable doing it. This is one of those trail systems that you can do that on. It does have the Asabo River here. If I zoom in a little closer, you have the Alcona Dam Pond. So there are some scenic possibilities here for you to follow up on. There's rivers. There's you're crossing the Asabo River at least once, and then you know, there's just different views here. And as you intercept the Mack Lake motorized trail, you can go north here and you can come into McKinley, and there's a nice bar where you can grab some dinner or lunch while you're on the trail. It's not too far away. Last time I was here, I don't think there was a functional gas station. So just have some more, you know, be aware of that there may not be a gas up point here. So that's the Alcona ORV Trails. Okay, the next honorable mention is the North Misaki Trail. And you just want to kind of zoom in on Cadillac here. Don't get confused with this here. It's up here. Manton is close by. And let me go over some of the map differences right now. I would be looking for a reference point. I'm looking like maybe, let's say, for US 131 or old 131. And so I'm just going to do a different map overlay. And as soon as I do that, I can see things a little clearer just for reference points here. So 131 highway is here. And I know as you get up here, Manton is going to be somewhere around here. Yeah, right here is Manton. So if you zoom in there, and the trailhead is, let's see if we get a little closer. The trail, there's a couple of trailheads here to get on. One is a very, very long parking lot, and I don't know about the other one. I've never visited the other one. At least I don't remember it. What I like about this trail is it is an in-out trail. It's not a, I guess the Alcona, Alcona ORV trail is an in-out as well. I tend to favor loops, but for some reason, these two honorable mentions are just in-out trails. What I mean by in-out is if you were to park here, it's not a loop. It's not like you're going here and then you're coming around a different way and coming back. It's just you go here and then you come back. That's in-out. That's what I mean by in-out. As you move over on this trail, again, now reference the red, the brown are the wider trails. So you do have the option of the side-by-sides on this trail. As you travel over here, looking for 66 here, you got a lot of nice hill. There's probably 3 or 4 in this area here. Or maybe it's back here. It's somewhere in here. And then on this side of 66, there's quite a few of them. And if you're doing an overland, and we have done several trips on this trail that are in-outs, where we've gone as far as we can, and then we have to turn around because we're, well, we got to get back today type of thing. We have to return back, and we're going back over the same spots. But you're doing overland. We did do one overland here where we started from another location in Michigan and ended up using this trail, and we just moved over. We didn't have to worry about coming back because we did a huge loop in Michigan. It was really cool because we got on the other side of 66, and I had never experienced all the elevation and the hill changes in here, but there's a lot of them. Little tight quarters on the 50-inch trails for sure. And I am talking about the 50-inch trails for the elevation changes. I really wouldn't know on the wider trails whether there's more hills or not. But you get into some elevation changes here. And just a really beautiful ride. Loved it. So love this trail system. And for a while here next to Hopkins Creek, the trail does parallel it real nice. So you get some views, or you can go walk up into Hopkins Creek. There are several bridges that you go over that cross Hopkins Creek and other waterways. There's lots to see on this trail. Very interesting. So highly recommended. Well, coming in at number 5 on our first of 5 entries for the top 5 ATV trails is the Black Lake Trail. That is in the Sheboygan area, a little south and a little east of Sheboygan. And you're looking at it right here. You have a north loop. You have a south loop. And again, I'm talking about 50-inch trails. You'll see some 72-inch trails that may or may not loop and do that. My experience has only been on 50-inch trails. And then you have a bonus loop of Bummer's Roost Trail. That isn't really part of the Black Lake Trail, but it is connected. And we've done all of this twice, actually. And if time permits, you can find yourself over here at Redbridge Trail, which I have never done before. So you got 50-inch and 72-inch trails here. And if you really have the time, you can come over here to Indian River, and those are some nice trails as well. What do I like about the Black Lake Trail? Well, there's a scramble area here. Let me see if I can come in here. This is probably one of the most dangerous scramble areas that I know of. Wow. You have really got to be careful in this area. The hills can be quite eroded. And you really need to be careful here. I could see people rolling over their rides real easy on these. So make sure you have a buddy. Make sure you go with at least pair up so that if something does happen, you have a ride out, or if you get hurt, you got some help. But whenever there's a scramble area or a sand pit or all, it makes for an exciting destination ride when you're on the loops and you're going. So it's just a nice scramble area. You should check it out. I did mention the in out versus the loops, and I do love, love, love loops. So you don't go over the same area twice. You're seeing new stuff throughout the day. Sometimes there's, like when you go to Bummer's Roost here, there's an in out here on this portion to get to this loop. So yeah, you do traverse this twice, but it's not that much. And then you've got your loop here. And this is a big one. But I've always favored loops. So as far as landscape, there's clear cut areas, perhaps fire burn areas. There's hardwood trees. There's soft pines. You see a little bit of everything here. There's some places to eat. There's one place to eat. And then we always stayed at the Black Mountain Lodge, which has been renamed to the Chateau at Black Mountains. At least that's what Google says. In the Black Lake Trail system, these loops are there's an in out here too. Just so you know, I'm not trying to mislead people here. You do see some of the same land here coming in and out, but the majority of it's a loop. These are long enough that you really kind of want to do this one in a day and, this one on a longer day. I don't think it might be possible to do both of them in a day, but we've always done one loop in one day and then the other loop another day. And we've gone there twice. And so that's the Black Lake Trail system. That's by Charlevoix. Recommended as my number 5 pick. My number 4 pick is up in the Western UP over in here. I cheated a little bit. They're really not trails. They're routes, plus I chose more than one. They're all so integrated, interconnected that it's just very difficult to isolate any one. So the B routes, anything with a B in it here, takes you out in the Keweenaw. And you have the bridge crossing over Portage, the Portage Lake Bridge. And you have the rocket range out here at the edge here, the rocket range. And referring to my notes here, you have High Rock Bay out here where people can camp. And the views are just awesome. If you look at my video, I think it is day 3. The routes, of course, any side-by-side or quad, there are no 50-inch trail widths here. And the trails are really, really nice. So we did have some problems with some closed trails, and we had to find ways around those. But for the most part, I just commend the folks that maintain these trail systems. Just wonderful people that help us all have fun. So thank you. And then coming back down here, if I add to the B route, the SB route and the LL route, then I get to add Agate Falls. That was here. And I get to add Bond Falls. And lastly, I get to add the Paulding Lights. So there's lots to see up in here, and I'm just really the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more. There's so many more waterfalls and rivers and ruins, old mining ruins, brewery ruins. Just lots and lots to see up in this area. So this is the Western UP gets my pick for the trail system that is, or the route system, I should say. That's number 4 on my list. Number 3 on my list is the Kalkaska Trail system. That's where my video Disaster from Kalkaska was shot. I didn't really get much into the trail system, and I have no video footage of the Kalkaska Trail system only because I haven't gone there this year yet. My intention was to go during that Disaster from Kalkaska time period. I just didn't make it. The two trailheads for Kalkaska are one going through Kalkaska until you're almost out of it and turning right on Nash Road. And there's a place here to go at the trailhead. It's not as big as this one over here, but it gets you to where you want to go here. And then you have this trailhead here off of 72, and this is south of Kalkaska, so you didn't have to drive through Kalkaska. And this is the one that I would recommend going on and get you over into this section of the trails faster, and this is where the fun is. Lots and lots of elevation changes and descents. Beautiful, just beautiful scenery, just all kinds of different kinds of plant growth, trees. There's lots to see in this trail system. There's at least one scenic view that I can remember here that's along in here someplace. And I wanted to get that in my video here earlier this year, but I wasn't successful, as you could see if you watch that video. So my intent is to go here as one of my first trips in 2022 and get this on video, and then I can mark some of that stuff out and know where it is. So my number 3 pick. My number 2 pick is the St. Helen Motorsport area. Centrally located to Michigan, kind of find Houghton Lake and just move off to the right, and you'll see St. Helen Motorsport area. This is a playground for quads, side-by-sides, Jeeps, off-road vehicles of all sorts. And the reason why this gets the number 2 slot is just the sheer amount of options that you have here. Not only do you have all of these 50-inch trails and 72-inch routes, they have little play areas too. So I'm going to switch over to Google Maps so I can show you some of that here. All right, I've switched over to Google Maps. I'm going to go into the same area here. I'm going to find Houghton Lake and St. Helen, Lake St. Helen, and move over into this motorsport playground. I'm going to go in a little closer, and you should see some waypoints coming up on the map. And you have St. Helen Rocks, St. Helen Sandy Flats, St. Helen Sand Pit, and St. Helen Hills. And let me just show you the snapshot of what that sort of looks like here. So there's probably, I would say, at least 6 or 7 slots going up this hill. And then it's also a hill getting up to this hill when you actually come into it. It's pretty exciting. And then there's different hill angles here that, people that feel comfortable with can go up or whatever. I've done them all, and I'm very conservative, so there's nothing really, I don't think, too much to worry about if you just, think about things and be careful. I've never made it to the Sandy Flats. Let me put this on satellite view here. Let me zoom in. I don't know what this is all about here, the St. Helens Sandy Flats. So I'm about to look at that the next time. I didn't even know that until I was starting to look at the map that was even here. We'll see what that's all about. So I don't have really much to say about that. Looks fun. The St. Helens Sand Pits. This is quite a nice, fun area. And I think over in here, I played a little joke on one of my riding buddies, Jim, saying that the water hole wasn't that deep. And that's, if you kind of get that reference and the Western UP trip. I think video number 2 is where we're going up to the cliffs there, and we were referencing that, and we made a little joke there. So that it goes back to this area right here. Jim got wet that day. Let's put it that way. So, and so that's the St. Helens Sand Pit, and then probably something that not a lot of people might not be aware of. If you look here real carefully in the St. Helens rocks, you have rocks here and here, here, and I'm going to throw some pictures up on the screen of what those look like close up. But this is where they have competitions and they train, where you might train somebody on how to climb rocks properly. This is where you can do that. Now, my understanding is this St. Helen Motorsport area is sort of a blueprint for what they might want to do in other Michigan ATV and side-by-side sites, is setting up something like that. The St. Helen area not only has what I just showed you, it has water, mud, sand, of course, you've seen that, and just lots of real estate to look around, and then, you know, connecting routes going in and out from other various trail systems. So this is just a must do if you like to ride and you want to experience something. And this town, St. Helen, they welcome riders. The restaurants, the townsfolks that have the businesses, the gas stations, they're all extremely nice, and they know what, you know, that this contributes to their town as far as bringing in revenue for the various things that people need to do in order to ride, whether it's gas, whether it's food, whatever it is. They realize the importance of it, and they treat people, as long as people respect the town and that, they treat people very well. So strongly recommended. My number 2 pick is the St. Helen Motorsports Trail. And my number 1 pick is, you probably guessed it, going up to the UP, Drummond Island. What is not to like about a trip to Drummond Island? Now I'm going to kind of go outside the Drummond Island area here just a little bit for the full experience. When you're coming from the Lower Peninsula, you're going to cross the Mackinaw Bridge. You know, that's just an awesome sight in itself, just having that experience. And then bonus, as you move over the Mackinaw Bridge and you head up I-75 and you get off on this road here, 134, look at the views you have as you're going down this. All of these Lake Huron and bay views that you have. It's just super awesome to experience this. And if you haven't, you check it out. And especially, you know, pick some nice weather. Maybe you like the colder weather, and maybe this is great. I have really never done that. I've only done it during the nice weather. The views are just so beautiful. And so you move along here, and your ultimate goal here is to get to Detour Village. And then there's more excitement because you get to go on a ferry, and the ferry can carry your vehicle, your rig, your trailer across, reasonably priced. If you just have a vehicle, I believe it's $14, or at least it was the last time I went. And then I think it's $2 for every passenger that's additional to the driver. If you have a trailer, I think it's around $30 for the vehicle and the trailer. Maybe per passenger you add a little more. It's just, and that's a round trip, by the way. That's not one way. That's coming there, and then you just use the same thing to come back. And, you know, it's maybe only 10-minute ride across here, but that in itself is beautiful, and especially if you're able to be lucky enough to see a freighter come through, that's a pretty good experience. And you get on the island, and you're at the island, the part of the island where there's really no commerce other than some maybe some gravel pit companies, that sort of thing, that are at this end. Uh, you have to travel a fair portion of the island, and you have to get over into here. And this is where the commerce is. This is where your gas station is. This is where your restaurants are, or at least some of them, and hardware store. There's a ice cream place. It's just, this is where most everything happens. There are certainly some other parts. There's a restaurant over here. There's another one over here, but then your trail system is right in here. And of course, something worth mentioning beyond ATV and side-by-side riding is for Jeeps. This is the only designated location in the state of Michigan that is a badge of honor location for the Jeepers out there, and that would be Marblehead, and that's right here. The steps of Marblehead. If you can get the badge of honor just by going here, the expectation is actually traversing the steps with your Jeep. You come out here. Of course, when you walk out here, the views are just awesome. And then you have Shell Beach, and you have some other places along the shoreline here. This route right here, whether you do with whether you do with a Jeep or you're doing it with your ATV, you actually get to go on the shoreline for not a large amount of distance here, but you're actually going along Lake Huron here with your Jeep or your side-by-side or your ATV. It's just awesome. And the same is true as you're coming out to Marblehead here. You can actually get right on the shoreline here with your ATV or your Jeep or whatever. Very cool. I believe on the way out here, there's an old, you just feel like you're in a movie. There's an old rustic log cabin just before you hit the shoreline here. And you just about expect or imagine some elderly gentleman will walk out of the door, or perhaps even, a woman with, a hat and, carrying an axe in their hand, and they're ready to chop wood. It just looks like that type of setting. It's so awesome. And then as you move off the shoreline and come up in here, it gets a little bit challenging, Ken. And then as you move out into here, it can get really challenging. It doesn't matter if you have a side-by-side or a quad or a Jeep. This is some tough going. If you want to come out to Marblehead without going through a lot of complexities, then it's recommended you come in on this. And it's a little longer, but it's more doable. There's a small set of steps earlier, very doable. My Jeep is stock, and I don't know if we've ever done it with our ATVs. It'd be super easy to do. There is something called Devil's Playground. I don't know exactly where that's at. We have done it a couple of times, and I just don't have it handy right now. But that's I think, other than Marblehead and maybe a few smaller elevation climbs, that to me is the only one that I'm aware of where there's a hill to climb. And it's in my trailer video. And it's also in my Drummond Island video for the ATVs there. You can see that Devil's Playground. You got to be careful with that one. If you don't do that just right, you could roll backwards and really hurt yourself. So there's a way around that too. If you're a little more conservative driver, you can come up around, if you're coming up to the hill to the right, and come up in a little bit more conservative path. So yeah, that's Drummond Island, and that's my number one pick. The listing that is currently scrolling are about 30 trail systems in Michigan that I have ridden in the past 4 years. Some of them more than once. The top 5 and honorable mentions are the trails that I picked from this list. They have my likes and dislikes. You can probably tell based on this video that I happen to like ascents and descents with the hills on the trails. So what would your top picks be based on either your experiences or what you've watched in all the various YouTube videos or in your conversations with other people? I'd be interested in trying trails that you recommend. And if you have information, please consider commenting to this video. Love reading the feedback. Love the ideas. You guys all are very constructive in anything that you might pass along to me. And if you have ideas or you're critiquing something, I take that information and I try to improve the video. So just keep that coming. I really like that. And I want this to be an engaged thing, a conversation that we have. So thank you for that. Hey, I want to thank you for stopping by the channel and checking this video out. If you have some ideas, drop them in the comments for me, please. And you may want to consider subscribing and liking the video if you found it useful, and hitting that notification bell. That'll let you know when I'm putting out more videos, which I try to do every Friday, and I have so far since May. So till next week, take care and thank you.